Good day, ma'am. Good day, classmates. We are the presenter of the chapter 5. So, I am the first presenter. My name is Abdul Kadir Gato Cortina the second. So, chapter 5, our topic is about using technology tools to collaborate and share resources among communities practice. So, the word collaborate, collaborate means synonym the teamwork, or we need a group to collaborate to a certain topic or some decision. So, ICT tools for collaboration and shared resources. Collaborative learning is the educational approach of using groups to enhance learning through working. So what I have said earlier, that collaboration is an approach of using groups to enhance learning through working. Collaboration tools uses. Facilitate real-time and asynchronous text, voice, and video communication. So collaboration tools uses these followings. Assist in basic project management activities, support co-creation by enabling groups to modify output in real time or asynchronous, simplify and streamline resource management, and lastly, enable local and remote presentation and archiving of completed project. So collaboration tools, these following are the main core of these tools for collaboration. Classifications of collaboration tools. So we have here 4 classifications of collaboration tools, which are the communication tools. Siyempre, first talaga ang communication tools for collaboration. Second is project management tools. Also, in collaboration tools, napapalog dito ang project management tools because when you collab, you simplify to work one, for example, one item to another, to compile it. Next is resource management tools. Resource management tools, kung mapapansin nyo, class, these 3, ito nga pat rather, ay magkakasunod ang kanilang halaga. First step ang communication tools, second ang project, after the project, kailangan ng resource. Then after the resource, the co-creation and ideation tools. Communication tools enables the facilitation and management of effective communication among team members. Communication tools are designed many of the following functions. So communication tools also design these following functions, which are the virtual meetings. So yes, when you communicate, you need a virtual meetings, like a communication to one another. Second is the emailing. Through emailing, we can identify, or we can disseminate or collaborate with others through email, like Gmail and other online platforms. Instant messaging, for example, our so-called messenger, text messages apps, and so on. Screen sharing through this screen sharing, we commonly see this upon the asynchronous class that we have, or online class, where our teacher, our proctor, share their screen to share their topics to the students. Then blogs, we all know the blogs, voice, video, web conferencing, and lastly the discussion boards. So what we are doing today is what we call voice, video, web conferencing. Then communication tools. Okay, so Zoom. We all nagamit naman natin ang Zoom, di ba, lahat dati through the pandemic. So Zoom allows users to connect video conference meetings, webinars, and live chat. So, ibalik natin kanina, parang lahat ito, or majority itong 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 na yan, ay may function sa Zoom. Because Zoom allows us to share screen, to open cameras, video, audio, recording live, and so on. Then Gmail or the email, a free web-based email service that provides users with a gigabyte of storage for messages and provides the ability to search for specific messages. So Gmail is one of the important or the fundamental app that are located in our devices, di ba? Kahit anong device, ang Gmail, we don't need to install it because it has been installed already. Because it has a major function, major needs, essential help rather, to our, through Gmail, we can provide users with some links and other ability to search specific messages. Then project management tools are geared toward handling logistic aspect of planning, scheduling, workflow, and task management. Project management tools are designed to handle many of the following projects. So, project management tools is ito ang tools na kailangan natin upang patibayin, paikliin, padaliin ang mga ang ating mga tasks. So we have here some functions like the task management, like what I have said that through these project management tools we can manage our tasks accordingly. Time tracking, workflow routing, milestones, calendaring. So in short, these project management tools organizes our work. Then project management tools, Synapse, best for time management. It provides a quick overview of the tasks you need to plan for. So Synapse is one of the many apps that is best suited for project management tools. So the next presentation is to be presented by Ms. Rita Nuevo. Thank you.
Good day, class.
Good day, ma'am.
So, this is the continuation of NAL's report. So, my topic is all about resource management tools. So, resource management tools help address common issues like having access a storage space for project files and keeping up with the multi-versions of same documents. Resource management tools are designed to handle many of the following functions. So the first is the file storage. So the file storage is this. File storage is the storage of project files in centralized location. Team members can easily upload, access, and organize the document. Next is search and database management. Versions, tracking, access management, social bookmarking, and commenting and tagging. So the next is resource management. So Janalisa, can you please read this?
Google Drive, a free cloud-based storage service that enables users to store and access files online.
So Google Drive is using for marketing project. So this is a file storage. The team uploads all the campaign assets, image, PDFs, and reports. Next is Google Docs. Catherine, can you please read?
So Google Docs. Google Docs allows users to create and edit documents online while collaborating with other users in real time.
So Google Docs shows who edited the documents, allow rollback to an early versions, and access management. The project can lead, restrict, and editing access to senior team members. Others can view only. So the next is co-creation and ideation tools. Co-creation and facilitate the most direct Internet between team members on the goals or desired outcomes for the project. So the concept mapping, which is cooperation, and concept mapping, di ba na? So concept mapping is a visual tools that help team map out ideas, concepts, and how they connect, often used to planning or problem solving. For example, the using of MindWhisker or the team maps out the steps a new product launch, showing how marketing design and development are linked. Wikis, virtual whiteboards, and real-time collaborative editing. So the example of cooperation and ideation tools, for example, is Dad, can you please read?
MindMeister. MindMeister is a collaborative mind mapping app. It can help you organize, prioritize, and even generate new thoughts.
Next, the Canva. Hazel, can you please read?
Canva. Canva is a powerful design tool that can be used in education to create projects that not only look great but also help teach students the basics of the digital design.
The next is the presentation and achieving these tools to allow the project team to present outcomes to the instructor, to a project client, or to the general public features. Webinars, slideshows, and posted media sharing. Webinars is a live online presentation or a workshop used to share projects outcomes with a remote audience. So the example of this is a team up Zoom webinars to present the final project to the client. The next is the slideshow. Slideshow is a visual representation made using slides to showcase key points or results of the progress. And the hosted media sharing is the team app uploads the online platforms where videos, images, and documents can be uploaded and shared publicly or privately. So this is the example of presentation and archiving. So please read.
So PowerPoint presentation, a presentation created on software from Microsoft that allows users to add audio, visual and audiovisual features to presentations. Google Meet. So a Google Meet is a video conferencing service from Google.
So that's all.
We are going to discuss in chapter 5 entitled Using Technology Tools to Collaborate and Share Resources Among Communities Practice. So, introduction to community of learning. So, community of learning is an environment where individuals come together with a common goal of learning and intellectual development. In such communities, each member is both a learner and a contributor. COLs encourage an atmosphere of trust, inclusivity, and shared responsibility. So, pag sinabi natin community of learning, ibig sabihin, it is a shared knowledge and growth. So, it takes many forms depende kung ano yung kailangan ng isang community. So, may mga key characteristics yan. So, shared goals. So, shared goals, ito yung focus, ayun lang, shared goals. So, all members are committed to achieving academic and personal growth. And the next one is collaborative spirit. So, learning is seen as a shared experience, a willingness, and enthusiasm to work together with others towards a common goal. Next is the open communication. Everyone is encouraged to speak, listen, and provide feedback to each other. Next is the continuous learning. So members are always evolving through interactions and self-reflection. So isa sa mga example ng COLs or community learning is, for example, yung nagkaroon ng through hands-on experience and shared knowledge. So, here is maritime advantage. So meron mga advantage, collaborative learning. So, the first one is enhanced problem solving. So, group discussion allow multiple approaches to problem solving through collaborative learning, enhanced problem solving, which leads to better outcomes. So, next is increased engagement. So, through collaborative learning daw, nagkakaroon ng increased engagement, which learners are more involved and motivated. And next is skill development. So, whereas communication, time management, and leadership skills are sharpened, and constructive feedback. So, peer review and mutual support improve learning outcomes. So, ito yung mga best practices na assign rules, like ito yung for example yung leader, kung ano ba yung rules ng leader na mga other use group contracts or agreements, set clear goals and deadlines. So ito yung next is yung reflective practice. So, it involves thinking critically about one's learning experiences and decision making. It involves thinking critically about one's learning experience and decisions. It leads to greater self-awareness and continuous improvement. So, meron benefits of reflection. So, number one is to identify strength and weakness. So, dito, you understand what works well and what needs development. Next is yung setting personal goals. So, dapat meron kang clear direction and nag-focus ka lang sa growth. And next is learning from mistakes. So, you learn from your mistakes. So, turning challenges into learning opportunities. So, ito yung mga examples ng mga methods and tools para sa effective learning. So, for example, if I give reflective cycle, so meron siyang 6 may mga yung may give reflective cycle, ginawa siya ni Graham Gibbs noong 1998. So, itong cycle daw, nag-guide sa every individuals through a systematic process of analyzing experiences and extracting valuable lessons. So, meron siyang 6 stages, so yung description, feelings, evaluation, analysis, conclusions, and action plan. So, say, titled, experiential learning din, another is yung mga reflective journal, blogs, So, next is ito, communication skills. Effective communication is essential for a successful learning community. It involves expressing oneself clearly, listening actively, and engaging in meaningful dialogue. So, pag verbal communication, you avoid using concise, respectful language, asking questions, and seeking clarification. Pag non-verbal naman, you have to maintain eye contact, awkward posture, you have to use an appropriate tone and body language. So, sa written communication naman, siya pumapasok ang structuring emails and reports clearly, practice academic writing and referencing. Sa listening skills naman, avoid interrupting others and summarizing or paraphrasing to prepare understanding. So, yun lang ang aking part. Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. I am Joseph Gardubiak, and my discussion is the continuation of Ms. Eliza's topic. So, before we start, I would like to ask a question. This is a common question, and we usually tackle this question in our last discussion and during our first semester. So, the question is, how can you promote fairness and inclusion in our classroom setting? So anyone? Okay, Jobel?
By simple respecting each other through their cultural sensitivity and nature of beliefs.
Okay, so through nature of beliefs and cultural sensitivity, we can promote a simple inclusion in our classroom. So then, later on, we will know if the answer of Miss Jobel is correct or it's in our discussion, if why I asked that question. So next is, this is the start of my topic. So communication skills, effective communication is essential for a successful learning community. It involves experiencing one's clearly, listening actively, and engaging in a meaningful dialogue. Sorry. So, communication skills is one of the most vital in, most especially in teaching, and then to the community, because how can we understand each other without communication? So, later on, we will know what are the communication skills and how it feels effective and how it will be used in the community when we are already in the field of teaching. So first is verbal communication. Verbal communication is using concise and respectful language. So when we are, imagine that we are in field of teaching. Imagine that we are already a teacher. So our verbal communication is the most important because in that way we can command our learners, most especially the young learners, because they are very hyper. Then through your verbal communication, through your voice, you can cultivate discipline to the class. You can ask questions and seeking clarification. Then through your voice also, by using your authority, your learners your learners will follow what you've said. But make sure that your verbal is, it is clear because your students or your learners is in elementary grades. Next is non-verbal communication. In non-verbal communication, we can use eye contact or open posture. For example, in symbolism. In symbolism, we can use, in our action, we can communicate. For example, like this, it means quiet. For example, I command that like this, it means that stop. So, we can use this non-verbal communication to the students that have the student that can't speak. We can use the sign language. So that's it. In non-verbal communication, we can use our body language as sign of communication. Next, in written communication, structuring emails and reports clearly, practicing academic and writing referencing. So in written communication, we can also, this is commonly used for us students, most especially, when we are taking notes, in making our lesson plans, in making our assignments or quiz, activity, as long as we are using our ball pen, pencil, elementary pencil, that is what we call communication. Also, written communication. Example, when you chatted your friends in social media, that is also an example of written communication because you are typing the group of words to a sentence that you send it to your friend. So, next is listening skills. First is avoid interrupting, and second is summarizing and paraphrasing, confirm understanding. Okay, in listening skills, This is not for educational purpose only. You can use also listening skills to comfort our friend, to say that, for example, he has a problem and he said, all ears on you. Our listening skills is the most, is a beneficial also because you can help your peers that can feel that they are belong. And also in your students later on, your teaching fields, when especially in elementary grades, they're used to always questioning like teacher, so on and so forth. So, yeah. Next is valuing diversity and inclusion. Okay, I mean, in valuing diversity and inclusion, my question earlier is related to this topic. So, diversity within a COL enriches the learning experience by exposing members to various perspectives, cultures, and experiences. So, Miss Jobel is right on his answer because in simple valuing diversity and in respecting the cultures of each others, we can promote a diverse community and inclusion. Since our topic is all about community engagement, when we are in the field of community that, for example, I am Christian and I am in the field of Muslim area. So, as a teacher, what should I do? So, of course, I will respect their cultures to avoid misunderstanding and to avoid conflict. That is the importance of valuing diversity and inclusion. Next is the core concept. First is cultural awareness. Yes, in my example earlier, for example, again, another example, when we are in indigenous area, for example, I am a Christian, I should know what their tradition, their beliefs, for me to be aware, for me to not harm their traditions through my speaking and giving my perspective. Next is inclusive language. Using words to respect, identify, to avoid biases. Okay, in inclusive language, we must be aware also on the language that they are using. To respect them and to avoid biases. For example, we already know that this is for example, if I can say this thing, they will get offended. So we must know the inclusive language of the community when we are in the community. Next is universal design for learning, providing multiple means, engagement, and expression. Okay, we have a different body and word of expression. For example, the bad words. For us, some people are normalizing their bad words, but when we are in the community, we must be aware of our words, most especially we are teaching. Next, examples on this is organic participation for members, being mindful for different styles, visual, symbolic, kinesthetic, and acknowledging religious cultural observance. This is one also of we must be aware of. In acknowledging religious and cultural observance, we all know that in Philippines there are so many religions, so we must respect each other's religion beliefs because that is their environment, that is their religion. So we must stay professional in every fields or in every community that where we are. We must align our actions to our profession. Next is the digital literacy in a COL. Digital literacy is vital for effective participation in online and blended learning environments. The key areas of digital literacy in a COL is information literacy, finding, evaluating, using digital resources effectively. So, in information literacy must be relevant because teachers, our profession is the most respectful and vital profession. So we must deliver a good information and it is relevant and make sure that it has a clear resources. So next is collaboration tools. Mastery of platforms like Google, Workspace, Microsoft Teams, and Trello. So these are the tools that also have the benefits to have collaboration tools in the community. When we are making in our platforms, these are the tools that we can use, and these tools are very helpful. Next is virtual communication, participating in forums, video calls, and shared documents. Okay, we are using this virtual communication most especially during pandemic time. We are using in Google Meet, also video call, and Gmail. Yes, Gmail. Next. Etiquette and security. Use respect language in online discussion. Okay, in online discussion, as I've said earlier, that we must align our words into our profession. We must align our actions into our professions because we are a teacher, we are not just an ordinary people. Next is avoid caps lock interpreted as shouting. So avoid caps lock because this can hurt because as I said earlier again that we are in a different sensitivity. We are in a different kind of sensitivity. Next is protect personal data and respect others' privacy. Okay. This is not new to us, most especially to this generation, but we must protect our personal data, most especially in the online world. Next is academic integrity. Akad mo nila? Sige. Academic integrity is refers to honesty and responsibility in a scholarship. It is a foundation of value in academic setting. So academic integrity, we must also, this is related for us to share that our integrity, most especially in academic. For example, your learners are more knowledgeable than you. So that is not advisable in a teaching area. So next is originality. Submit your own works and ideas to avoid the copyright. Next is acknowledgement. If you're using sites or works that is not yours, now acknowledge the owner or this. Yes, that is credits. Make a credits to the owner of the sources that you use, and also in appropriate referencing, we can use APA, MLA, and etc. Next is transparency. Be honest about contributions in a group project. So when we are in a community, we must work as a team because as teacher, we must do our part in the community. Next is the common violations in online world. In the internet is plagiarism, intentional or unintentional. Plagiarism is when you are using word that is not your word. Seems like you are stealing the information that the others did. Next is cheating in assessment, in overusing of artificial intelligence. So we are the target of this because as students sometimes we're so much abusing the artificial intelligence. So that is not good to us. Next is fabrication of data or sources. Next is the tools to support plagiarism detection software is Turnitin. So this application can detect the artificial use in, for example, in research. This can detect if your research is AI or AI generated or you or not. Next is writing and referencing workshop, tutor and peer support. So in tutor and peer support, if for example your friend asks you to help her, if you have the ability to help them, yes, that is tutor or help support. Next is benefits and engaging COL. Oh my God, ang dami. Participating actively in COL provides numerous academic, social, and professional benefits. First is academic benefits. We discussed earlier. Benefits a better understanding through discussion and shared resources. Enhance motivation and accountability. Access diverse viewpoints. Next is personal benefits. Improve self-confidence and development of empathy and social skills. Professional benefits is a readiness for team-based work environment. Yes, I've said that earlier that if we have an activity, we must do it as a team and not a single player. Next is stronger collaboration and leadership skills. As teacher, we must cultivate also our leadership because we are, in our future fields, we are meant to lead the young learners, most especially in elementary grades. Next is greater adaptability and resilience. So, in conclusion, Miss De Guzman, can you read our conclusion?
Conclusion: a successful community of learning thrives on active participation, mutual respect, and a shared commitment to growth by embracing collaboration, diversity, integrity, and reflective practice. Learners can create a supportive and enriching academic environment. These principles are not only essential for academic success, but also lay the foundation for professional excellence and lifelong learning.
Okay, thank you so much. So that's it, and we have our assignment. So make an essay in connection to our topic today. So that is a 50 points of essay. So that's all, and thank you.